We were pretty famous back in high school. Trust us!
Had a whole future ahead of us, but now we suck.
All that potential now is flowing in the aqueducts.
Through the sands of time, many did forget.
But now our time has come to resurrect. But a podcast.
Sad I know, but can you blame us?
We are desperate to be much more than high school famous. Hello, everyone. Welcome to this.
It's a straight up like
welcome,
crappy NPR opening. Just welcome
to this particular week's edition of High School Famous, the podcast with mystical belt sanding powers.
Ooh. I was not expecting belt sanding to come after mystical.
I am your host, Matt.
Stop it.
All right, I'm fine. I can go back.
I'm not going to allow that to continue.
What if I go by Matthew?
Nope.
What if I go by...
So I'm still going to call you Sean.
What if I go by Sean Matthew?
It's going to be too confusing because I think...
You think people...
I've been told... So I've been told... No, fuck it. I've been told that sometimes it's hard to tell which one of us is talking. Even though I don't think our voices sound anything alike.
I don't think they sound alike at all.
Right. But if we're both calling each other Matt, it's just going to make that a million times worse.
Okay, so I'll be Matt 1.
No.
And you be Matt 4.
Hold up. First off, if anybody's Matt 1, it's me.
Well, okay. So I'm putting like in between us like a Matthew McConaughey, Matthew Broderick, and then you.
They're not even in our circle.
But they're well-known
like
Matts.
It would make sense.
We're well-known Matts. And
no,
so
we are not. If anything, we're 1, not well-known. 2, not well-known Matts. Because you would not be well-known as a Matt if you've just been doing this for the last 2 weeks.
So I'm putting us in the company of other well-known Matts or Matthews. So that's why I ordered it that way. I'm Matt 1. Matt 2 is McConaughey. 3 is Broderick, because I think you're a Broderick fan. And then 4...
What?
Is you.
Where do you what gives you the thoughts that I'm a Broderick fan?
Well, I know you love...
I've seen... Go ahead. I'm changing your words.
You love Sarah Jessica Parker, who is married to Matthew Broderick.
What makes you think I love Sarah Jessica Parker? You're making a lot of claims about me.
You've always made some very flattering comments about her face. And
oh, yeah.
That you love her work, and so therefore, by proxy, you are a fan of Matthew Broderick as well. I know you're a huge fan of Ferris Bueller's Day Off and Inspector Gadget.
I was hoping you would mention Inspector Gadget.
Of course I will.
Okay, Ferris Bueller's Day Off is an okay movie. It's okay. It's of its time.
I've seen some of it.
My biggest... Okay, I'll get to my biggest problem with that movie in a little bit. But because I do have a serious problem with it.
Okay.
I would his best. What would be Matthew Broderick's best movie? It's very hard to tell because it's definitely not Inspector Gadget, and it's definitely not fucking Godzilla.
Okay, so I don't know other movies he's in besides those two. I mean, I'm sure I've heard of other movies.
He was in like
I just can't think of him.
He was in like War Games. God damn it!
Yeah.
I have to look up his IMDb.
Is that when he's on the computer?
Yeah.
Is that the whole "Would you like to play a game" thing, or is that a different movie?
I think it's that game. See, when I type in Matthew, he's not even in the fucking list.
Isn't it weird that the two Matts, quote unquote, famous Matts I would talk about go by Matthew?
Yeah. I mean, I think sometimes when you get older, maybe you just kind of do that. I don't know.
But they've always gone by Matthew since they've been actors. I've never heard of Matt McConaughey or Matt Broderick.
Okay, so I'm gonna kind of try to go through at least some movies you've maybe heard of.
Sure.
So obviously, War Games. That was one of his first films.
Yeah.
Have you heard of the movie Lady Hawk?
I have heard of the movie Lady Hawk, and I can picture the cover.
Yeah. You used to work in a
video store.
Video store. That's I was gonna say like film
film store.
He sold films.
I'd like to purchase film.
So yeah, Lady Hawk. That's a movie of my youth, so I it has a soft spot in my heart. A soft spot? Sweet spot?
Soft spot.
Soft spot? Is that the right word?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So then you would also have a soft spot for Ferris Bueller.
No.
Is that okay?
Well, a little bit. Yeah. I mean, it's just kind of it's a movie of its time. It's a fairly popular movie. Right. Project X.
No.
That's one where he's like he works in a place that like is training.
They make letters.
Chimps. No, they're training like chimps to like fly planes and shit. And it's kind of a messed up movie. Let's see. The Freshman. I don't know. Lion King, obviously.
Oh, that's right. He's adult Simba.
Yeah.
I forgot all about that.
Oh, the Cable Guy.
I don't
missing that one.
I don't like the Cable Guy.
It's not a great movie. It's not a great movie by any means, but it's a popular one that he's been in. Let's see. Godzilla, obviously. Lion King 2, apparently he reprised his role. Inspector Gadget. Lion King 1.5. Really? I didn't realize he did all of those Lion King movies.
Well, I don't think he's like rejecting roles.
Possibly not. He was in the Stepford Wives.
Was that a movie?
Yeah.
I don't know about that one.
Hold on. The Producers.
Okay.
Apparently he was in B Movie.
Okay, I never saw that.
I guess he did a cameo in the movie Trainwreck.
Is that who's in that one?
Movie.
Is that Amy Schumer? Am I thinking?
Yeah, that's her. Can't stand her.
Was it just her? Because there was a movie she did with Goldie Hawn. Is that the movie?
I honestly, I 100% do not follow her career at all. I have no idea.
I saw a movie with her and Goldie Hawn in the theater.
Oh, lucky you.
It was terrible.
I can imagine. She's very unfunny.
I don't remember if it was well, the Goldie Hawn was bad too. It just seemed
yeah, well, Goldie Hawn is she's
to me that
she was never amazing.
Right.
She was just kind of all right.
To me that seemed like a desperate role for her to do. Yeah. Like to try to stay relevant and be known by or something.
I'm trying to think of like what Goldie Hawn movies I can honestly say that I like.
Was she in like Romancing the Stone? Or was that someone else?
That was what's her name? No, I like that movie though. That movie's fun.
Was Kurt Russell in that? Or am I just placing those two in there for no reason?
Yeah,
I'm just placing those
you're getting all
that movie. Okay.
So neither of them Michael Douglas and
yeah.
I can't think now. I'm gonna have to look up Romancing the Stone because I feel bad that I'm forgetting her name. It's just
but Kurt Russell and Goldie Hawn historically did a bunch of movies together, right? And I don't
know if they've done a bunch, but they definitely did. Kathleen Turner. Sorry, Kathleen Turner. I completely my mind lost your name for a second. But Danny DeVito's also in that. It's just that Romancing the Stone's a fun movie. But no, Goldie Hawn and Kurt Russell did Overboard together.
Overboard. I think that's what I'm thinking of.
That's a fun. That's another movie, from my youth that I still, I haven't watched it in a long time, so I don't know if I would still enjoy it as much as I used to. And I'm not sure. I know they did like some like Santa Claus movie or something together.
That's what I was going to mention next. I think it's called Christmas Chronicles.
Probably.
But yeah, he's Santa and she's Mrs. Claus in those. I think there's two of them. But I think it's all about like believing in or having the spirit of Christmas and, basically believing Santa exists in order to enjoy December.
Otherwise you can't enjoy December.
There's not much else going on.
So to kind of circle back for a second, Ferris Bueller's Day Off. The one main problem.
We're done naming Matthew Broderick movies.
Yeah, there was honestly, I kind of skimmed through the list and there was nothing else that was even familiar to me.
Got it.
If it wasn't familiar to me, I'm like, there's probably no chance John's ever heard of it. But no, my biggest problem with Ferris Bueller's Day Off is so he's skipping school.
Okay, yeah,
right,
yeah. Mm-hmm.
So the whole premise is it's his fun, outrageous day that he's skipping school. So it's clearly a weekday,
right? Yes.
Halfway through the movie, there's a parade going through town that he like jumps onto the float of and starts singing a song. I'm like, it's midweek. It's at least it's a day of the week that school is happening, so it's not a holiday.
Do we know it's mid? Could it be a Friday? Do we know
even if it was a Friday, they're not going to do a parade on a Friday. Fridays are typically always Saturdays and Sundays because people are off work. People are going to be able to go to attend the actual parade.
Okay,
They don't have parades during the middle of the week.
Let me throw this by you. Okay,
it's going to go right by me.
I would not trust a dry run of a parade on the day. So this is a practice run.
There's no practice run.
This is the practice run of the
Oddly
parade.
enough, parades are pretty straightforward. You don't have to.
They don't turn?
Not a lot of preparation. Not a lot of preparation involved in parading.
We start on this block. We end on this block.
Yep.
You wave. You throw candy.
Yeah.
It's over.
I have a lot of parade knowledge. So
you do?
I honestly do.
Would you say you've attended a lot of parades?
I have been in more than I've attended.
How's that possible? That would say that you've never attended a parade that you weren't in.
That's not true.
If you've been in more parades than you have attended, you're attending the parade that you're in. You're there.
Well, you know what I mean.
No, I don't know what you mean. Because what you mean is wrong.
When you say attending, you're alluding or
you're spectating.
That I'd be spectating. You're
all right. So you are not counting parades.
Is it alluding or inferring?
Inferring, I think.
Inferring. You're saying that I am. Yeah, I think inferring is correct. You're inferring that I am a spectator of the parade. But and I'm not going to be 100% that I have been in more than I've spectated, but I have. It's a very close number, probably.
What makes you important enough to be in a parade?
When I was in the first grade. My hometown always has the yearly carnival festival or whatever.
The Rockin' Days.
It's called Rockin' Rogers now. It wasn't back then.
Oh,
but I
left out the city name for your benefit, but
I don't fucking I don't care.
We are famous Mats.
Nope. But when I was in the first grade, so they would do a competition or whatever to see who would be the royalty of the fair or the royalty of the next. Sure. I believe it would be the next year.
Gotcha.
So I won somehow. I don't know how. There was a bunch of different people that did it, and I won. So I believe it was the next summer. I was part of the Rogers royalty, and I rode in many parades that whole summer.
Okay.
So I was on a float with another person, another female that I went to school with, and then we had some older. How many
parades
people.
Do you think you rode in that summer?
It was at least 1 to 2 every weekend.
For how long of a stretch?
The 3 months of summer.
So we're talking 12 weeks, roughly.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe
20 something
parades.
parades.
20 parades.
Probably maybe more.
So how many do you think, let's just say 20. How many do you think you've been a viewer of?
Well, yeah, I guess in that sense I've viewed more because I think I would have seen the yearly parade that would go through my hometown several times. So my estimate was possibly skewed in that sense, but I've been in a lot of parades. I've been in some since then as well, but
we're talking Renfest.
Well, I was just saying, I was about to include that. I'm like, we would do a parade at the Renfest every single day. So there was those. So I did 9 years of that for, what is it? 16 days a year? Is that how long Fest was? 7 weeks plus 2 other days, plus a Friday and a Monday. So there was 16 additional every year.
So
for 9 years.
So 90 plus 54, 144 parades for Renfest.
Okay. And then I'd done a couple other ones where I drove a vehicle in them. I've been in a lot of freaking parades. And then I did marching band once. We marched in a parade for high school. Or no, I would have been junior high. Yeah, because I wasn't in band after that.
Well, man, maybe I was wrong. Maybe we are just one well-known Matt.
We are nothing.
What? Maybe you're the only well-known Matt here.
No, people don't know who I am, which is just fine. I live in obscurity.
Does that mean you can't tell where you live?
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
And nobody else either.
Interesting.
Yeah, Mike, I'm an illusion.
I'm an obscursion.
Yeah. So yeah, that's my problem with Phyllis Buer's.
Because he was in a parade, and you're like,
in a
no,
parade in
I'm
the middle
guy.
of the week.
You're like, I'm the guy that's in
I know
parades,
parades.
not him.
I know parades.
This is not how parades work. When did that movie come out? Because would that have been before your first grade parade? Yes, you do.
It definitely was. Because that movie came out in '86. I was only 4.
So you were probably inspired by that movie to try to get yourself into a parade.
No, because
was that
I had, as far as I remember, I don't recall making any sort of choice to enter that competition to become. I may have just been placed into it. I don't know. I guess my mom never really like forced us to do any like weird shit like that. So she probably asked me if I wanted to, and I was probably like, okay.
Wait a minute. Was it really dog royalty?
Why dog royalty?
Because you were the little Duder puppy, so maybe she entered you into the dog royalty competition for the parade.
No.
Did you sit next to a female dog?
No.
It was human royalty.
No, it's funny. It was I was recently kind of reminded of all this like earlier this month, I think, because the girl who was the other junior royalty or whatever he called us, because there was 3 older women that were like high school that were like the queen and princesses or whatever, and then we were like the junior royalty or whatever.
Sure.
So the girl that was with me, that was the same age as me, we went to school together, and it was, and I was reminded of all this just like earlier this month because it was her birthday, and I messaged her on Facebook something about being like something about parades. I don't remember. It wasn't like clever or anything. It was like best, like happy birthday to the best like parade companion or some shit. I don't remember what it was.
Well, I did not know that so much of your life revolved around parades. Here you are a month ago talking about parades on your own time, separate from this coincidental conversation, not related to
How dare I
at all.
How dare I conversations outside of this podcast?
You are all about parades.
No, it's just recently for some reason it came back up. No, do you ever get that whole like that sense of like when you start talking to somebody new and then you're just like, I feel like I have nothing cool to say. Like I feel like I'm boring. Like I haven't done anything interesting. And then you start recanting like parts of your life and you're like, I have done some interesting things actually.
I do, but I get the feeling that like outside of just after high school, I haven't done anything interesting. So
it feels that way, but then you start to kind of like think about stuff. Like I always kind of feel that way too. I'm just like, I just don't feel like I do anything interesting or I've ever done anything very interesting. And then I'm like, then people like ask me about certain stuff and I'm just like, oh yeah, I like used to work at a Renaissance, and they're just like, oh, that's super interesting. I'm like, it is kind of interesting.
It's your life, so it's like whatever,
it's skewed. Yeah, it's your own skewed opinion on things, and it's like I do that to myself all the time, where I'm just like it's similar to like our first couple episodes of the podcast, where we're just like, they're not good, like we don't like them, and blah blah blah, and then somebody listens to them and they're like, it was actually pretty good, it was entertaining, blah, blah. I'm like, yeah, I guess it's kind of our like what we expect of ourselves, when we know we can do better, but other people don't.
We're our own worst critics.
I want to say other people don't expect us to do better. No, but other people just like either they don't, especially like if people who don't know us and they listen to it, so they don't really know what we're capable of.
I was just gonna say the same thing. They have no idea how awesome we can be. Yeah, I wonder if we should show them sometime. Just decide to really to really open it up and
just really whip it out.
Awesome.
Just give them everything.
Just give them all of it.
Just give it the full amount.
Just give it the full.
Stop holding back.
Yeah, even if it hurts.
Right. I think there's an Owen Benjamin joke where he's talking like one of the most insulting things you can say to a guy during sex is deeper.
I've heard that. Yeah.
He's like, what do you? He's like, you think I'm holding back?
Yeah.
It's like I'm giving you everything all the time.
Wow.
It's like, no, I'm holding back that last inch. You don't deserve that.
Whatever happened to that guy? Does he still do anything?
I think he's still doing stand up. I'm sure.
I don't think does his podcast still exist?
Oh, I have no idea. I stopped listening to it after he completely changed what he like, because it was really interesting at the beginning, because he was like breaking down jokes and like how they became like, oh, this is kind of how the joke started, and then here you can see how I kind of developed it and broke, the progression of how a joke forms until it hits its final form, and like explains like why he bombed here, and like that was an interesting part of his podcast. But then he just like started going on rants about stuff, and I'm just like, oh, this isn't interesting anymore.
It turned into a big cry fest about how comedians can't say whatever they want.
Yeah.
And that
which I agree with.
I get,
extent, but
I don't know.
It's lost its appeal of what I enjoyed about it. So I just stopped listening.
Yeah. It totally shifted what it was. It just became him whining about, and even when he would bring in an audio clip of a set he had done recently, his actual breakdown of the joke was very truncated and short, and he would just, that became such a small piece of what the podcast was.
Yeah, I've had several podcasts that have kind of like done that to me, where it's like I'm really interested in it, and then they kind of change up the format a bit, and it just kind of takes away from it. Because there was one that was called like, God, I'm trying to remember what it was called, because they even changed the name of the podcast. But it had something to do with like, it was basically famous people in history, and like it was like famous people, horrible deaths, or something along those lines. I don't think that's what it was actually called. So they would tell the story, and it would kind of be like a radio play. Like they would have people playing parts and different stuff like that. And
reenactments.
They would tell like for instance, they did like Rasputin. So they told his whole story and how he like horribly was killed and all this stuff. And it was a very interesting listen, and you just kind of, gives you pieces of history and stuff. But then they just completely changed it to historical figures, and they would just talk about anybody. And I'm just like, that's not why I liked it.
Did they reveal at the end who it was, or were they right up front? Like, we're going to talk about Rasputin today.
Oh, yeah. Each episode was titled who they were talking,
Because what was that one? Was that a real radio show where they're like, and that person was blah, 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 and that's the rest of the story, where they'll give facts about somebody, but at the very end, they'll reveal who it was?
Oh, I have no idea what that is.
Well, that was it was on The Simpsons.
Okay.
But to me, that sounds like something that they pulled from real life.
Probably.
But it sounded like an interesting idea for a show.
Yeah.
What other podcast can we talk about instead of this one?
Yeah, I mean, this is true, but I mean, I'm not really plugging them. I'm kind of talking about why I don't listen.
How they're not good anymore.
But I honestly, I don't listen to any podcasts anymore, especially like since we started doing this. I completely stopped listening to all podcasts, and not because of this, but it's mostly just because at work, I used to always just listen to them at work, and I can't.
You quit.
I quit work. No, I
don't work anymore, so I don't listen to podcasts. Predicament.
No, it was mostly because like at my job previous to the one I'm at now, I could just listen to stuff all the time, and like because my focus wasn't pulled away from what I was listening to as much.
Yeah.
But now I can't focus on what I'm listening to ever. So there's no point in listening to a podcast because I don't really hear what's going on. I just lose stuff so that I have to go back. And I used to listen to like audiobooks all the time too. And same thing, like at least a podcast, if I miss stuff, it's not a huge deal, but like audiobooks, I can't listen to them anymore because I just can't focus on them. And I just lose where I am with stuff, unless it's probably like a book I've listened to a million times before, but
I've never been great at doing that either. Like, if I am focusing on something, I can't listen to something at the same time because I will not pay attention to what I'm listening to.
Yeah.
I can only pay attention to one thing. So I won't be able to switch off. So, I mean, when I was working at that shopping channel and I was thinking about if I ever wanted to be a director there, I would hear that they have to tell the camera operators which camera to, what to do with the camera, and also what someone else in the control, if they have to tell them what camera to switch to. And then they also have to tell the people doing the graphics what graphic to put up on the screen, and they have to listen to the host tell them stuff and the producer all at the same time. And so I'm like, I would not do well doing this.
I think
it would
that's
be
definitely
cool to
something.
try.
I feel like that's something that you have to become good at. I don't think you could ever just jump into that and just be like, I can do this. Like,
sure,
that's
I
definitely
bet you could hone that and get good.
Yeah, I think that's something you have to definitely build up to, of like an assistant director, so you kind of like get little bits of it and stuff. But yeah, that seems like that's such a like something that you've definitely you hone it over time, because I'm sure anybody could do it, but you just gotta. It's very difficult off the beginning to be like, I got to pay attention to like 30 different things right now.
Even the hosts and the guests, they would be talking live to the cameras, just selling whatever they're selling. And then the producer is telling them that they're going to move to this graphic next or whatever. They're going to put up this promotion next. Make sure you mention this. Make sure you mention this deal. And then they'll just be sort of like nodding as they're talking to acknowledge to them that they heard what they said. And then they'll say what they were supposed to say. And then sometimes the director is telling them something because, like, let's say some product shot isn't ready yet. So they'll be like, they're thinking they're going to throw to a product shot, but then like, oh, no, they're working on that right now. So they just have to stall and whatever. It's like, there's a lot going on at once.
Yeah.
I would imagine
same with like newscasters and stuff too.
Yeah. Yeah.
They're constantly getting.
Yeah. I imagine if I was sitting at that desk trying to sell something, and the moment a producer or a director or anybody starts saying something in my ear, my talking would stop, and I would just silently listen to what was being said, and then I would go, okay, and then I would start talking again. It would be
then you'd be like, all right, where was I?
Yeah. The look at the tourmaline.
We'll have to
sparkle.
You guys sold a lot of tourmaline.
A lot of jewelry.
I think that'd be something fun to test out, just to see how easily I could distract you from stuff. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, we could do this. We could do this right now. You could try to sell me something, and I could start trying to give you some information.
Feed me some info that I have to say. Okay, what are we going to sell?
I don't know. What do you got? What do you got nearby that you don't have to get up for?
I mean, I have this notebook. I have a notebook. I have a pen.
Tell me about this notebook. What's special about this notebook?
So everyone, today I'm going to be selling you this Mead 5-star miniature notebook. It's not a full-size notebook. I know I'm holding it to the camera for you.
I know.
No one else can see this.
Well, it's part of the show. That's what you do.
This is
make sure you show that to camera.
This is
You failed immediately.
I did. This is a 5-subject notebook. So, but just like the pages themselves, so we can
see all 5.
I'd say that the notebook or the subjects are miniature as well. Along with
switch the camera too.
It's a nice metal spiral down the spine. You've got that 5-star Mead cover that they're known for.
Sure. Tell them how many spirals.
You've got well, it's one spiral. It's got one continuous spiral. Thank you for trying to trip me up on that.
Don't address me directly. You're doing a show.
But I can say my producer was trying to trip me up on the number of spirals, but I was one step ahead of that fool. It's college ruled. And these has that nice perforation on the edge so you can tear the pages out easily.
Explain the difference between college rule and regular.
Each subject has a little folder on each side of the subject divider so you can store pages in there that you tore out. A college rule versus wide ruled, basically there's less space in between the lines. College rule has a smaller space in between the lines versus wide ruled. It's because when you grow older and smarter, you write smaller. So this particular model I have is green, but it comes in a variety of colors. You've got red, blue, pink, purple, black, gray, white.
Tell you to do the list. Perfect.
Yeah. Right. And so
moving back to camera 1.
All you can do is you write on each page, and then once the notebook is full, you buy another one. So these come in singles, or they also get them in a pack, depending on what store you're at. But since I want you to buy from us, the notebook is probably $5.50 a piece, I think. Okay. There's no graphic on the screen telling me.
Deal for multiples.
So if you buy multiple, you can get 5 for $25, making them $5 even a piece. So go to your local
really
store. Well, I think I said it was 5 something for an individual.
Oh, gotcha. Perfect. Yep. Sorry.
Yep. So that's it. That's the green notebook. Call now if you're interested. The item number is J348729. They're going fast, as my sale counter is indicating. We have just under 35 left in the green, but in the red, we have just under 20 left. So act fast if the red is your favorite color. Blue, we have plenty of. No one seems to like blue. I think it makes you think of sadness. Black, we have only 10 remaining. Black is the most popular color we had. Starting off the hour, we had the highest quantity in black, but now that is down to less than 10. So that is clearly the most popular color option in the notebook space.
Wonderful. Moving on to the next product.
All right. Next product is that's it. I don't know. I think I did okay.
You did all right. Yeah. There was a couple of spots, but you did all right. It's not that hard. I mean, I wasn't throwing you a ton of shit, but.
No, but I would say that, my years of witnessing people do this kind of maybe gave me a little bit of a leg up on something. So even me jumping to an item number and how many are left of each color.
See, it all came back to you all of a sudden.
It all came flooding in. And I'm looking over the visuals and like where's my mug of water and tea? And are my cue cards accurate? Are they stapled? Are they paper clipped? All that good stuff.
Not bad.
A lot of hosts would come and staple their own. They would grab the stack of cue cards and then they would staple them themselves in the host room. But sometimes some of them wanted us to do it for them.
Weird.
Yeah.
It's in my rider that you staple it yourself.
The rider, yes. Did you have guests that came on that had riders? Well, I mean, there was nothing in writing. Like the rider is like a pre-filled out thing that says I need this and this and this
bananas,
and this, right? I need the room to be at this temperature. I need a leather couch that reclines with a cup holder. Like all that stuff is laid out ahead of time so that when they get there, it's all ready for them. There was nothing in writing, but there was some stuff that it was sort of everyone knew. So when you're training someone new, it's like, oh, this guest is coming. They like this or this or this. So then you just learn what each person prefers or what they do and don't like out there. Some like their coffee black, and some like it to have, like this one guy wanted tons of sugar in his coffee. Some people just drink tea or like hot water with some of that throat coat in it. Some people drank tea. So, and a lot of times it's not like you had to have that ready or else. Like they'd be like, oh, hey, would you want water or tea or what would you like? And then they'll say, oh, could you give me some of this? And then you'll go get it. So you didn't run into that.
Like the urine of a child, please.
Yes. I would like it to be ice cold because I like to crunch it. I like to chew it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, what do you think? You want to try selling something or no?
No, not at all.
No. Okay.
Not at all. I think that will be very not entertaining anymore.
Gotcha. Okay. So
and I probably won't be as good at it.
Oh, thank you.
So save myself the embarrassment.
Yeah.
You're just looking around like something that would have been better to sell.
No, I'm trying to find something to talk about. I recently bought a blender and I've been making smoothies.
Been blending?
Yeah, I've been trying
blending.
I'm trying to wean off of the caffeine so much and maybe have a little more energy from a more natural source. So it's only day 2
of owning or making
of using. Like I got the blender like a few days ago. It was earlier in the
months ago.
No, I just got it. So I tried some. There was one that it was called the orange dreamsicle. So it had frozen banana in it, and then orange juice and vanilla extract.
I don't like orange cream stuff.
No.
Like, I don't know. I don't like that like creamy flavored stuff, like a cream soda, and like I don't know. Cream soda just is horrible in general.
It's weird, right? So I used to love cream soda, and then I remember years ago, I go, you know what? I could go for some cream soda, and I bought some, and I tried it, and I'm like, this is not what I remember. I don't enjoy this at all.
Yeah. Like the only time I like kind of that creamy flavor is like a root beer float.
Oh yeah.
It's the only time.
But the creamy flavor comes from ice cream though. So that's like,
But it's kind of that it's got that like it's that same essence though. So I think that's the only thing like the creamsicles, the orange like creamsicle popsicles or whatever the fuck they are. Those are nasty to me. They're just I wouldn't say nasty. I just really don't care for them.
You would not like it.
Vomit, but
you would not like it here. All my Febreze plugins are creamsicle scented.
I don't believe you.
It fills the air. It helps me when I use my diffuser at night. When I don't use essential oils like lavender and eucalyptus, I dump some creamsicle in that diffuser at night.
Just like an actual
just slap a popsicle in there. Yeah.
I make sure let it melt slowly.
I put hot water in and then slap the popsicle in there to melt it down.
You slap it in there?
Slap it in there. It splashes all around. Playful. It cries for help. It says, I'm drowning. I can't swim.
I am not coming to your house for bathtub party day.
Did I say dreamsicle or chipmunk? I forgot. What did I say?
I felt like I heard the word chipmunk.
Yeah. I paint it orange first. I dye the fur orange.
I'm going to have to go back and listen to that now.
And then I do something with a popsicle stick or tongue depressor.
That's
and then I put it in I put it in the diffuser, and it puts me right to sleep. Once the struggling stops, right to sleep.
But that's why me of the strangest purchase I've ever made.
Okay, well we'll get to that, but that's why I know I do it ahead of time. Okay, look, I'm going to go to bed in about 10 minutes. Let me get the diffuser going so that the struggling is stopped by the time I'm ready to lay down.
The struggling of the chipmunk.
Did I say? I mean the dreamsicle.
I don't know what's going. I honestly have lost all track of this conversation.
The dream monk, the chipsicle. It's whatever it is. It smells great, and it helps me go right to sleep. And you would love it. So I've got the absolute most horrible soda concoction for you. Then,
okay, go for it.
I haven't tried it, but for a while they had a Dr. Pepper with cream soda combo.
Oh, that's horrible.
Yeah. So once I saw that, I was like, well, not knowing your hatred for cream soda, I knew you would hate it in general. But once you mentioned that you don't like cream soda, I'm like, well, he would not like Dr. Pepper mixed with cream soda at all. What's your worst purchase ever?
I didn't say worst. I said
weirdest. Sorry.
Strange. Well, maybe it's not even the strangest. It's a weird purchase I made when I was still doing Renaissance Festival. I bought I don't even know what you would call like the size of it or whatever, but I bought a thing of 5,000 tongue depressors.
Okay.
On Amazon, I think. Because I was making all those little slapsticks.
Oh, that's right.
That we were giving away to people.
Okay. I was like, what
that had all of our
for this purchase?
Yeah. So I bought,
I was trying to get into medical school, so I bought 5,000 tongue depressors.
Yeah,
and a stethoscope.
I was just going out testing, practicing on people out in public.
Yeah. You're like, hold on. Say, yeah, your throat would be perfect. Let's go back to my place.
You have a delicious throat. Not the best way to describe somebody's throat.
No, because how would you taste the throat itself? Unless there's
ways.
Slicing involved.
There's definitely ways to taste somebody's throat. But no, yeah. So I bought a big freaking thing of 5,000 tongue depressors, and then I had to. So basically, I was just making these little slapsticks. So I'd have 2 full-size tongue depressors, and then I took a bunch of tongue depressors and like chopped them down shorter so that I could. So there'd be like 1 full one, then I'd put 2 little ones and another full one. I'd glue all those together.
What's the little one? Quarter, half, third?
Third, about a third. I think I cut them into thirds.
Right down. Third. It was a third the length of a regular tongue depressor.
Are you writing this down so you can make them in the future? 1/3.
Keep going. Why would I have this on record? I can listen to this.
I don't know why you're writing it down.
Keep going.
Anyway, so yeah, I made a bunch of little things. I bought some stamps, so I would stamp them with our like Facebook page and our name and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. And then when people would give us tips, we'd give them free little slapsticks to take home with them. Popular with the kids. Kids would just go around and start hitting everybody with them, and it was great.
You're right. Your life is not interesting.
No, it's not. You're trying to get a dig at me there, but I agree.
As I just got done talking about making smoothies.
That's what
I'm up to.
We talked about cream soda for way too long.
We did. Well, for your liking. I could probably do cream soda every once in a while, but maybe not. Maybe I don't hate it as much as you do.
Yeah. God, it just reminded me of this stupid this little gag they do on Game Grumps every once in a while when they talk about something stupid for way too long. One of them just all of a sudden will chime in, was like, "Hey Billy, what's your favorite episode of Game Grumps?" "Oh, I like the one where they talked about macaroni for a long time."
Sure.
It's like
calls attention to it.
Yeah. Like, yeah, we do that. We do that too. Talk about something really dumb
a little bit
for way too long, and then realize this wasn't
we're still talking
at all.
And it's not done.
Well, we always tend to do the thing where it's like, oh, this is really funny, and then we take it to the point where it's not funny anymore.
It's not funny anymore.
We just keep going, and then it's like, all right, it's funny again.
So there's an older episode of Impractical Jokers where they have they're in a hat store, and you know those grabbers to grab one of the hats that's really high up on the rack.
Yeah,
they had Sal take 2 of those, and he had to use those as his hands, right?
Yeah,
so he would be like, yeah, and then he'd be like, one girl had like a little backpack on, so he was like pretending to try to get into the backpack with it and stuff,
right?
And then at some point, Joe goes, "Sal, do it until it's not funny anymore." So he's like, oh, he knew right away. He's like, okay.
And it's like, this is gonna suck.
Made it so their time at the store was miserable. So.
Just horrible. Yeah.
For those who can't tell, I coughed the word store.
I couldn't tell.
Oh, well, now you know that I said the word store when I sort of coughed it out.
Oh, it was perfect. It was smooth.
Oh, good. I should have not called attention to it. Maybe no one would have noticed.
Possibly. I don't know if it's just that maybe I was a little drifty in that conversation and I wasn't paying as close of attention to you as I should have been.
Why not?
I don't know, because we're having a conversation. I should probably be paying attention to it.
The headline was not grabby enough?
Yeah, maybe. Or maybe it's because I've seen that episode. So I was just kind of like, oh, he's talking about a thing I've seen. So I can kind of drift off here for a second.
Yeah,
I can go back to looking at Matthew Broderick films.
And then when I call to you to, agree or disagree
with my
points. Nice. Deck the halls. Okay. I'm guessing that's a Christmas movie.
Most likely. He played Steve Finch. No relation.
The number one, no relation to who?
I don't know.
Jake Finch. I like that. No relation.
No relation.
To you? He's the number one. He's the number one hall decker in his region.
I'm trying to think of a movie that I do know he was in. The Road to Wellville. That one's kind of all right. I forgot about that one. Okay. Yeah. Sorry. Didn't mean to go back to Matthew Broderick so hard.
That's how he likes it.
Okay.
I mean, I don't hear him disagreeing.
That's because he can't, because his mouth is taped shut.
Oh, I see. I see what you two are into. Yeah. 2 mats,
Sean,
1 cup.
Do you have a safe word? No segue.
So
just that thing with Matthew Broderick made me think of this because I have a
you have a safe word?
Yeah. It's more of a phrase, I guess.
Oh, okay. No,
it's more than one word.
I'm not. Okay, is this where you want me to yes and, or you want me to give a real answer?
I would be curious. Well, I'm assuming you don't have one because it's possibly just hasn't come up.
I've never been in the position to need a safe word. No.
Right. It's like my sex has always been super vanilla.
Yeah, my safe. It's dreamsicle is how I describe it. My safe word is. It's more like a phrase as well. Keep doing that forever.
Okay, because mine is don't stop.
Okay. Which one is more effective? We will find out.
Because it came up because this was a few years ago. It came up because Iman went to hang out with some friends and they played a game where you have to like come up with answers to things or whatever. And one was like, "What's your safe word?"
Sure.
And so I can't remember what she said it was or what other people did. And I immediately just go like, oh, mine would have been don't stop.
Yeah.
I'm like, it's perfect because it's just
I like how, of course,
or more, please.
Of course, both of our answers are very similar.
Just anything like that. Just like, I love this. That's also.
But here's the sad reveal. Here's what's the real sad. This is what this story is really about, right?
Mm-hmm.
Iman was out doing something fun and having a good time and being in a situation where you just heard about it and gave your own answer for a question in that. So why weren't you in that? Why weren't you in? I don't remember fun experience. Yourself.
I possibly wasn't invited, or
ouch.
She was just hanging out with friends, and then they ended up playing games.
You are parade royalty. You should be invited to everything.
Well, I mean, I'm not disagreeing.
But you're stalling time.
The problem is that was so long ago. Unfortunately, my light has faded a bit.
And I mean, your reputation has been tarnished quite a bit after all those scandals.
Yeah,
everything's alleged, but that stuff it's on you no matter what.
Oh yeah, yeah.
You get accused of something, whether you're acquitted or not.
Yeah, it follows you forever.
It's a stench. It's like a dreamsicle scented Febreze plug-in the rest of your life.
If people,
where do you plug it in on your body? I wonder.
Yeah, and if people aren't following, we're talking about Johnny Depp right now.
Of course we are. He is currently going through something with.
I don't know. Gonna touch on.
Yeah, I don't know much about the.
Everybody's talking about it, so I'm not. Yeah, I don't know much. It's interesting.
All I've heard is something about pooping on something.
She apparently pooped on the bed.
Why the bed? I mean, yeah, that's kind of gross, but you can wash sheets. Like, why not poop on something that matters? Like, that means something to him, you know? Like his SAG card.
I don't do. Is it a physical card?
I would
have a physical card.
Maybe not nowadays, but I imagine, especially when it was first created, I guarantee you it was a card.
Were you ever like, you had to carry it on you just to prove, like, if it ever came up, you had to prove
when you're
a SAG member?
When you're pulled over in Hollywood, they ask you for your license and your SAG card.
Right.
And if you have a SAG card, they let you go.
Oh, yeah, of course.
Yeah. Matt, if you were famous, would you...
Go ahead.
Would you just use your name, or do you think you would come up with like a stage name?
It's a good question, because there are clearly a lot of famous Matthews out there.
Some Matts, some Matthews,
some Matts. Matt LeBlanc,
Matt Dillon.
One.
There's a
there you go.
Matthew Lillard.
It's Matt Dillon. Matthew Lillard. Matthew Perry.
Matt Sajak.
Yep, the famous Matt Sajak.
Host of Dial of Money. I don't know.
You couldn't think of something better than Dial of Money.
Okay, what do you got? What's your parody Wheel of Fortune show title?
Well, what's another good word?
You've already taken it more time than I did.
Yeah, because I want to come up with something that's actually decent. If you take time, sometimes you come up with quality entertainment.
Sure, I'm trying to preserve the comedy timing aspect of it.
Got you. I would probably I would use wealth as instead of fortune.
Okay, there you go.
Yeah,
you're working backwards.
Circle of wealth.
Circle of wealth. There you go. Yeah. Fine, you've won.
I've won Circle of Wealth.
No, you've won this naming competition. So now I know if you were famous, you would have to go by Matt Sajak.
No, I wouldn't. I don't know. I've never put a lot of thought into it. I'd probably just use my own name because it's not such a common name that there's a chance of running into another person with the same name in the guild. Because I know people that have the same name, that's why people change their names a lot of times. Yeah, whoever was there first is fine, but then anyone else has to. So why Michael J. Fox is called Michael J. Fox? Because he had to change his name.
I'm going to assume you responded, but
I said because he had to change his name.
Oh, you froze. Anyway, so everyone will hear it, but me. There was already a Michael Fox, and his middle initial is actually A, but he thought it was like cocky to walk around saying Michael a Fox. So he went with Michael J. Fox.
Like a sexy man.
Right.
Yeah.
Or a predatory animal.
Yeah. Just like me.
Yeah. Well, you're the little duder puppy. I would go with just my name. I think my name is short enough and my last name
short enough and unique enough. Yeah.
My last name's unique. My first name is boring as hell, but my last name's unique enough where I would need to make it anything more interesting, I don't think.
Yeah.
And then I don't want to make my first name so interesting that it overshadows my last name.
Right.
Like Shangelica.
Shangelica Houston.
Oh, no. Starred in such films as the Madam's Relatives.
Nailed it.
I sure did. See you next time.
Is that it now? It's the see you next.
It could be. Well, time is ambiguous. Time is ambiguous enough so that A, it's not so obvious what we're doing. B, what if we release an episode on a Wednesday or a Monday or some day other than Tuesday? We're not locking ourselves in.
We'd possibly know ahead of time if we were planning on doing that. So we could then say, see you next time.
Or we could just say it every time.
Yeah. Options.
Okay. That thought. Fine. See you next Tuesday.
Oh, I can't believe you just did that. Hey, Sean, do you want to mention before we leave? Sorry, I'm dragging this on. This is us floundering at the end of an episode. Do you want to maybe mention something else that you do on the side on here, or you want to leave that as a separate entity?
Oh, sure. I've started a YouTube reaction channel. It's called Tool Fan.
Self promotion.
I know. Well, you asked. I wasn't.
Can't believe you decided to do it.
Yeah, I'm all about me. It's called Tool Fan Reacts, and so I don't think I've mentioned this explicitly on there, but I could react to anything. Could be at stand-up bits or show, something. Right. But so far, it's just been music, been various songs that people have suggested I react to. The most recent, I actually plugged us on there.
I saw that.
You see the little lower third I put up of our handle? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to be doing that. I'll be doing that probably going forward. And so that's what I'm doing. So you can find me on there.
So feel free to go over there and suggest some songs. So, yeah.
And Matt has nothing on the side. Unless he does, and he does not want to reveal it yet. Nothing
at the moment on the side. Nothing that's like a thing that people can tangibly access at the moment. But
got it. You're trying to revitalize your parade career.
No, I'm gonna. I'm possibly gonna be trying to work on some music stuff.
Ooh, is this under the group name that I'm aware of?
I'm thinking about that because I kind of want to write some goofy stuff and just kind of play around and not. I don't want to take it. I've never really wanted to take music super seriously, anyways.
But the nice thing now I mean, this may have been true even a decade ago too, but I don't know how. But you could easily put it up for the masses now. Like it can.
Oh yeah.
Easily made available for people to consume. No.
Yeah, way easier than back in the day. So I'm thinking about messing around with some music stuff, and maybe at some point if I get enough goofy stuff, and I'll make a YouTube channel myself or something, and plan on collaborating with some people like Snooze Magoo, and I'm sure I'll collaborate with you a little bit on some writing stuff and whatever, and vocal arrangements. We clearly killed it with our
theme song.
So stuff like that. Just have some fun.
So there you go, everyone.
That's where I'm at.
Look out for more us.
Yeah. See it.
Deuces.
See you next Tuesday.
Goodbye.
Bye.
We are on TikTok now, which makes us even cooler. HS Famous. Find us on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter at HS Famous Pod. Email us directly at highschoolfamous@gmail.com. We have Patreon too, but you'll never go there. Altogether, our hearts beat as one.